The topic is hypertrophy. What is hypertrophy? Hyper means increased. What is trophy? Trophic means size. So this is a kind of cellular adaptation when the size of a cell is increased to cope up with the stress. For example, you are a guy who has now started to go to the gym, and you are lifting large weights. What will happen? You are putting stress onto the body, and the stress is here the mechanical stimuli. So what will your body do is the skeletal muscle try to adapt, and it will try to adapt by increasing its size. That's why people go to the gym to build muscles. There is no new extra muscle cells added into the gym. Only the existing muscle cells size increases. So hypertrophy is increase in the cell size. What is the mechanism of hypertrophy? Yes, synthesis of proteins. The proteins will be synthesized. The protein will convert into cytoskeleton. It will be used into the maintenance of the cell, the cytosol, and a large number of protein will also build the framework of the cell. For example, you have actin, myosin, all those filaments and everything. That is the mechanism of hypertrophy. What is it? Synthesis of proteins. What is the stimuli of hypertrophy? The stimuli of hypertrophy is mechanical stress. You put mechanical stress over a body cells, for example your skeletal muscle, the cell size will increase. Now this occurs in both dividing cell as well as non-dividing cells. Earlier you saw hyperplasia. Hyperplasia means division, and it used to take place only in the cells which have the capability of division. But hypertrophy takes place in the cells which it doesn't even have the capability of divide. It means it will take place in the both. So mechanism we saw, which was synthesis of proteins. Now let's see the.
This is a microscopic photograph or the microscopy of your uterine myometrium. In the first photograph, you can see the sizes of the cells are very small, comparatively to the right side. You see, this is a smaller cell here. This is also very small. This is also very small. But on this part, you can see the cells are very large. Why is it? Well, this is the uterine myometrium during the normal days, while this is hypertrophied myometrium. The thing is, in the first photograph, you can see the cell has no mechanical stimuli. The cell is not under the stress. So they are smaller in the size. But during the pregnancy, when the child is inside the uterus has to support the child of the weight of the child. So they get bigger in the size. So there is a stress, which is the mechanical stress or the mechanical stimuli. Then mechanism comes into kick. They start synthesizing protein. All those intracellular protein synthesis takes place. The cell size increases. So the first slide is normal, while the second one is the bigger one. First is normal, second one is hypertrophied.
So let's see physiological one. You see, when there is pregnancy, the uterine myometrium increases in size so that it can support the child. Why? Otherwise, the thin wall of uterus will not be able to contain the child. So physiological hyperplasia example is uterine myometrium. Myometrium is muscle part of the uterus, which is the middle part or the myometrium. Uterine myometrium during pregnancy. Suppose this is uterus. It doesn't have a child now. Now there is a child. The child is increasing in the size. It means it will put more weight. More weight means more stimuli. More stimuli means the cell will start synthesizing protein. If this was the cell, large volume of protein, the cell will increase in size. If the size of cells are increasing, then the size of organ will also increase. So this is the hypertrophy of uterus during the pregnancy. Another thing, breast during lactation. Milk contain large volume of fat, and milk is produced by Apocrine secretion. It means the apical part of the cells are lost into the secretion from your histology classes. You might remember. So it means if there is there are the presence of fat in milk, it means the cells which are producing the milk will also have it. So if fat needs to go inside the cell, and if fat will go inside the cell, the size of fat, the cell will increase, and there will be protein synthesis to contain the fat, support the cell, and also. So one another physiological adaptation of hypertrophy is your breast during the lactation. The third one is skeletal muscle in body builders. This is physiological, when your body is just trying to take care of itself. Now we have pathological hypertrophy. It means the thickness or increase in the cell size in some pathological condition. One such example of the pathological hypertrophy is left ventricular hypertrophy. Now, in the physiology, you have studied the ventricle can undergo hypertrophy two ways, because of volume overload or pressure overload. What do we mean by volume overload and pressure overload? Volume overload, it means heart has to pump more blood than the normal, while pressure overload means heart has to pump against higher pressure than its normal pressure. Let's see. Suppose this is aortic valve. Now, suppose this was your aortic valve and it has to close, but it did not close during the systole. So what will happen? Let's say it was pumping 75 ml of blood, but 10 ml came back. Here, let's say 25 ml was supposed to be staying here, and then another filling was going to take place from aorta. The blood would come to the ventricle, but now you have 25 from here, maybe 50 from here, and 10 more. So next time when the heart will pump, it will not just have your 75 to 50 and 25, not just 75, it will have 80. This time the heart will have to pump 85 ml of blood. So this is more volume which heart has to pump. So this is known as the volume overload. Why that took place? That is because of the aortic regurgitation. Because of aortic regurgitation, what happened was blood came from the aorta to the left ventricle, and diastolic volume increased. Now since the diastolic volume increased, not the end diastolic, and systolic volume increased, which will also cause the diastolic volume to increase. Now suppose you are playing Holi and this is your balloon. Now tell me one thing, if there is water, water will settle here, or water will go and settle down here? It will settle in the most gravity dependent part. Similarly, if this is your heart and now this has more blood, where will it settle? It will settle in the most gravity dependent part, which is the apex of the heart. So yes, the blood will settle into the apical part of the heart, and this part of the heart will have to pump more. That is why the apical part of the heart will undergo hypertrophy. So left ventricular apical hypertrophy will take place in what? In your aortic regurgitation. Again, there is aortic regurgitation. It means blood is coming from the aorta. Now from aorta to the ventricle, it means the diastolic volume increased, and when there will be the next systole, the heart will have to pump more blood. And which part will have to pump with more strength? The apical part will have to pump with more strength. Why? Because this part is the gravity dependent part, and the large volume of the blood will be accumulating here. Say this part. This is the apical part, this is the balloon, for example, and this is the apical left ventricular hypertrophy will take place. So when you are studying internal disease or medicine, internal medicine, you will always see there is left ventricular hypertrophy. That can be due to various conditions like aortic regurgitation. If there is aortic regurgitation, the left ventricular hypertrophy will be in the apical part. But if that is due to peripheral resistance, you will see the wall of heart to be thickened. Why is that? Let's say there is peripheral resistance. It means the blood has to pump, heart has to pump blood to your body organs with more strength. So there is higher peripheral resistance, heart is pumping with more strength, the wall needs to be even more thicker, needs to be thicker. This is again adaptation. And if the need is to be thicker, which part will be thicker now, apex or the wall? The wall needs to be thicker because wall is the part which is pumping the blood. So this time the heart wall get thicker, entire wall thickens. So this is your left ventricular hypertrophy. First one was due to the volume overload, second one is due to the pressure overload. If you have studied physiology, I think it would be very easy for you to understand. Otherwise, please see the lecture again or read the notes again. You will understand everything. You guys are very amazing students.